I mean, these sanctions are having an impact, at least on the Russian people. We've been hearing about how inflation in Russia is up 15% in very short order since this war's begun. These additional sanctions certainly will eat in. But does it impact Putin? I mean, he has shown a very high tolerance for pain on his people in the past.
Well, he certainly has a high tolerance for pain on the Russian people. You know, what the Russian people have had stolen from them by Putin and the oligarchs, the inability to have that last ability for well over the whole history of Russia to really have the personal freedom they'd like to have, and the personal freedom the Ukrainians are fighting to be sure they can hold on to. You know, they have been subjugated by Russia before. They don't want that to happen again. I think the surprises of the incredible Ukrainian resistance, the poor performance of the Russian military, and NATO coming back really to be prepared to serve its own purposes of defending the NATO countries, and now looking at a neighboring country and doing what they can to help that neighboring country defend itself. Pretty incredible, unanticipated. I think it's going to have big long-term economic consequences, big long-term military consequences as to how we look at military assets, as well as be a big part of the future energy discussion.
A story we have not discussed this morning, one that came out from Reuters, but I think could be key and maybe the most hopeful thing I've seen to date. 6 people told Reuters that some of the Chinese state refiners, we're talking Sinopec, CNOOC, PetroChina, and Sinochem, that they are shying away from new contracts for Russian oil, that they are honoring the contracts that go through May, but they are not buying beyond that, because they are concerned, as Beijing has warned, that these sanctions could have an impact, and you don't want to be tainted with that. Even though they're being offered very low prices for oil, maybe this is the turning sign. Maybe this is a point where China stands up and says no, and if Putin loses Xi as a partner, maybe that actually makes a difference.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that long-term, irrevocable relationship, or whatever they announced just a few weeks ago they've never had a good long-term relationship. China certainly will drive a hard bargain when it comes to buying energy and other things from Russia, and they should be concerned about being tainted by what's happening right now in Ukraine. Again, the world's looking at this, understands what they see, and they'll understand who the partners are, and they'll understand who's helping Russia evade sanctions. Those sanctions will get tougher. The Congress needs to come up with its own sanctions so they're actually law rather than done by the president. And the big hang-up on that appears to be what kind of waiver authority the White House is going to continue to insist on. I think Russia's going to pay the price here for a long time, and China shouldn't want to pay that price along with their new closely bonded ally of Russia. It was a big mistake for China to make that commitment without knowing what Putin was going to do, and an even bigger mistake if they did know what Putin was going to do.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.